Welcome to today's English practice story. If you want to improve your speaking and listening skills, you are in the right place. As you read this story, try to say the sentences out loud. This will help you speak more clearly and confidently. Don't worry if you make mistakes. Just enjoy the story and learn step by step. This story is about a woman who takes a trip to London for the first time. She is very excited. It is a dream come true for her. She has always wanted to visit London. She read about it in books. She saw pictures of Big Ben and the red buses. She imagined walking near the River Thames and hearing people speak with British accents. Finally, the day comes. She packs her bags and flies to London. The flight is long and she feels tired. But when the plane lands at Heathrow Airport, she feels happy and excited again. Everything looks new and different. She gets into a taxi and looks out the window. The streets are full of people. Some carry umbrellas, some wear jackets and walk quickly. There are beautiful old buildings, big parks, and bright lights. She smiles and thinks London is even better than I imagined. Soon she arrives at her hotel. It is not a big hotel, but it is very clean and quiet. She walks to the reception desk. A kind woman smiles and says, "Welcome, here is your key card. Your room is 207. Have a nice stay." The traveler says thank you and takes the elevator to the second floor. The hallway is quiet. It smells nice, like fresh flowers. She finds room 207. She swipes the keycard and the door opens with a soft click. She walks in and takes a deep breath. The room is warm and cozy. There's a big bed with white pillows. There is a desk by the window and a small table with 2 chairs. Outside the window, she can see the river. It is calm and peaceful. She opens her suitcase and puts her things away. She takes a quick shower and changes into fresh clothes. Then she says to herself, "Let's go explore." She walks outside and starts her adventure. She sees Big Ben and takes a photo. She watches the guards at Buckingham Palace. She hears people speaking many different languages. Some tourists are taking pictures. Some locals are walking to work. Everyone seems busy but friendly. She stops to buy a cup of tea and enjoys the warm drink as she walks. Later, she takes a ride on the London Eye. From the top, she can see the whole city. The cars look small. The river shines under the soft evening light. The sky is gray, but not too dark. It feels like she is inside a painting. She feels calm, thankful, and amazed. She thinks to herself, "This is beautiful. I feel so lucky to be here. I want to remember this day forever." As the sun starts to go down, she begins walking back to her hotel. She feels a little tired, but very happy. Her feet are sore from walking, but her heart is full of joy. She thinks about everything she saw. She is proud that she traveled alone and used English to talk to people. She knows she is learning not just about London, but also about herself. When she enters the hotel lobby, she feels peaceful. She is ready to rest. She smiles at the receptionist and takes the elevator again. She remembers her room number, 207, on the second floor. But little does she know something funny and unexpected is about to happen. That's the end of part 1. In the next part, you will hear what happened when she went back to her room. It's a surprise, and it's a great chance to learn more English. Remember, the best way to learn is to read, speak, and enjoy the story. Keep practicing and don't be afraid to make mistakes. You are doing great. See you in the next part. After a long and exciting day in London, the traveler felt very tired. Her feet hurt from walking and her eyes felt heavy. She was happy, but now she just wanted to go back to her hotel room and rest. The city had been beautiful, and the day had been full of fun. But now it was time to relax. She entered the hotel and smiled at the receptionist. The lobby was quiet. She walked to the elevator and pressed the button for the second floor, just like before. When the doors opened, she stepped out and slowly walked down the hallway. It was the same hallway she remembered, or so she thought. She stopped in front of room 207 and swiped her keycard. The door clicked open. She pushed the door gently and walked inside. At first, nothing seemed wrong. The lights were off and the room looked similar. But after a few seconds, she noticed something strange. There was a suitcase next to the bed. She looked at it. It was black with a red tag. It was not her suitcase. She felt confused. Then she saw clothes on the chair. She had not left clothes there. She looked at the shoes by the door. They were men's shoes, big and dark brown. Her heart started to beat faster. She whispered to herself, "Wait, is this my room?" She looked around more carefully. Something was not right. She had a strange feeling in her stomach. Suddenly, she heard a soft sound. The bathroom door slowly opened. A man came out. He had a towel around his waist. His hair was wet. He looked at her with wide eyes. He was surprised. They both froze. He said, "Who are you? What are you doing in my room?" The traveler could not speak at first. Her face turned red. Her mouth felt dry. She finally said, I I think I'm in the wrong room. I'm so sorry." The man looked confused, but he stayed calm. He raised one eyebrow and said, "This is room 207. "Yes," she said quickly, holding up her keycard. "Look, it says 207. He walked over and showed her his keycard, too. It also said 207. Then he pointed at something on her card. She looked closely for the first time. His card said, "Room 207, second floor." Her card said, "Room 207, third floor." Her eyes grew wide. She had gone to the wrong floor. "I'm so sorry," she said, again, now feeling even more embarrassed. "I didn't mean to come into your room." The man smiled a little. "It's okay," he said kindly. "Just double-check your floor next time." "Thank you," she said, and quickly walked out of the room. Her hands were shaking. Her face was hot and red. She pressed the elevator button and waited. She could not believe what had just happened. When the elevator doors opened, she stepped in and pressed the button for the third floor. She looked at her key card again. It clearly said third floor. How did she not see that before? She took a deep breath. That was so embarrassing, she said to herself. But then she smiled a little. It was embarrassing, yes, but also kind of funny. The elevator stopped. She walked down a different hallway. This time, she found the real room, 207. She swiped her card and the door opened. This time, everything looked just right. Her suitcase was next to the bed. Her clothes were folded. No one else was in the room. She sat on the bed and let out a big sigh. Then she began to laugh. It had been a mistake, but no one was hurt. The man had been kind. And now she had a story to tell, a funny story that she would remember for a long time. She thought, this is something I will never forget. Always check the floor before you open a door. Even though she had felt nervous and embarrassed, she learned something important. Mistakes happen, but sometimes they can turn into something to laugh about later. And sometimes mistakes become the best stories of all. That night, after the funny mistake with the hotel room, the traveler finally sat on her real bed. She looked around the room. Everything was just as she had left it. Her suitcase was in the right place. Her clothes were folded neatly. The room was quiet. She smiled and shook her head. What had just happened? She had walked into a stranger's room by accident. A man had come out of the bathroom in a towel. It had been awkward, surprising, and embarrassing. But now thinking back, it also felt funny. She couldn't stop laughing. She thought, this is something I will always remember. It's a little crazy, but it's also a good story. It taught me something important. Slow down and always check the floor number. As she lay in bed, she began to feel thankful. She was thankful that the man was kind. He didn't get angry. He didn't shout. He smiled and let it go. That kindness made her feel safe. She realized something important that night. In travel and in life, mistakes will happen. But when people are kind, everything feels easier. The next morning, she went down to the hotel lobby to get some breakfast. As she waited for her tea, she saw the same man from the night before. He smiled and waved at her. "Hey, room 207," he said with a little laugh. She laughed too. "Thank you for not calling security on me," she replied. They both laughed again. It was a simple moment, but it felt warm and human. Two strangers had shared a funny story. Now it was a memory they would both keep. Maybe he would tell his friends. Maybe she would write about it in her journal. Later that day, she sat by the river and thought about the experience. She thought not just about the hotel mistake, but also about learning English. She realized something. Making a mistake with English is a lot like walking into the wrong room. At first, it feels scary. You feel nervous, maybe you feel embarrassed. But most people are kind. Most people will help you, not laugh at you. She remembered times when she had said the wrong word in English. Sometimes she had mixed up cheap and chicken or forgot how to say umbrella. People smiled, helped her, and sometimes laughed with her, not at her. It made her feel better. It gave her courage to keep speaking. She thought, I don't need to speak perfect English. I just need to try. She had learned something powerful. Mistakes are not bad. They are part of learning. They are how we grow. In fact, mistakes can become special stories. They can make people smile. They can even help us make new friends. She wanted to help other English learners, too, so she wrote a few ideas in her notebook. One idea was to write a short story about a mistake in her own life. It didn't have to be long or perfect. It just had to be real. Writing in English would help her remember new words. Reading it out loud would help her speak more clearly. Another idea was to practice English with a friend. They could take turns pretending to be at a hotel. One person could be the guest, the other could be the receptionist. It would be a fun way to practice real conversations. She also thought about recording her voice. She could tell this funny hotel story out loud. Then she could listen to herself and try again. She would learn to speak better step by step. As she looked at the river, she felt calm and proud. She had made a mistake, but she had also made progress. She had learned a life lesson. She had practiced English in a real way, and she had smiled even when things went wrong. Before she left London, she promised herself something: she would keep learning. She would not be afraid of mistakes. She would laugh, speak, and keep going. Because learning a language is not about being perfect, it's about being brave. And sometimes the best lessons come from the most unexpected places, like room 207 on the wrong floor. Now you've come to the end of the story. Let's take a moment to remember everything that happened. The traveler went on her first trip to London. She felt excited, nervous, and full of hope. She visited beautiful places, met friendly people, and enjoyed the city. But then she made a mistake. She went to the wrong floor and walked into the wrong hotel room. A stranger was inside. For a few seconds, it felt scary and very embarrassing. But something good happened. The man was kind. He did not get angry. He helped her see what had happened. And then they both laughed. That mistake became a funny memory. It was not something bad. It was something real and human. A moment of surprise turned into a moment of connection. From that mistake, she learned a lot. She learned to double-check her room number. She also learned not to be too hard on herself. Everyone makes mistakes, and sometimes those mistakes help us grow. This is not just a travel story. It is also a lesson for life and for learning English. Sometimes when we speak English, we are afraid to make a mistake. We don't want to say the wrong word. We don't want others to laugh. But this story shows us something important. It's okay to make mistakes. In fact, mistakes are part of learning. They make us stronger. They help us remember, and they teach us how to try again. So next time you make a small mistake in English, don't feel bad. Take a deep breath. Smile. Keep going. You are doing something brave. You are learning a new language, and that is something to be proud of. Congratulations on finishing this story. By listening and reading all the way to the end, you have improved your English listening and understanding skills. That is a big achievement. Now here is a small quiz question for you. Question: what floor was the traveler's real hotel room on? The second floor. B, the third floor. Write your answer in the comments, A or B. I'd love to see what you remember. If you enjoyed this story and learned something new, please subscribe to the channel to support us. It gives us motivation to create more helpful content for you. And if you want to help us keep going, please consider donating to support our work. In the beginning, it's not easy to make high-quality English lessons, but we do it with love for free to help you and others learn English with joy. Thank you for being here. Keep learning, keep smiling, and see you in the next story.